Hi and welcome back to my channel. So if you watched the last episode, you know we had a bit of a mystery on our hands when we bought, we finally were able to buy an animal for our farm, but we have no trough to feed our animal, so I don't quite know what we're going to do in this episode. But I actually had to go back in the recording and I do actually find out what happened to our trough and where it is. So please go check it out. I created a short, it should be on my channel as you're watching this episode. But if you want to actually find out for yourself without watching the short and just, you know, be confused with me, please go watch the previous episode. I mean, the last episode was very interesting because we actually found some treasure, so I'm hoping that we can sell this treasure and actually make a little bit of money because again we have so much town debt, and yeah, so it was quite exciting. But as per usual, we're just going to do our dailies. We're going to speak to the NPCs. Today is a no tent NPC day, so we can do a bit of adventuring today, a little bit of making money, and yeah, let's have some fun. Oh, iron bar. Oh, cool. I have a feeling we're probably going to need a lot of iron bars, because there's always that one material in a farming game that you can never get enough of in the beginning, and then probably by the end of the gameplay you are drowning in the materials. But who else knows that pain of you need a specific material to make the really cool things in the game, and then you get so impatient because you can't get enough of the resources. But I'll guess we'll find out. Okay, so we found this in the last episode, but I just want to quickly check before we go to John on my fruit trees and the bushes that are planted. Yeah, I'm hoping the NPC comes back so we can buy a food trough in one of my future episodes. So if you want to know if the little chook survives, not due to my neglect, but due to, which I assume was a bug or intentional, and it just happened like that. But yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. Okay, so we're gonna have a look with John if we can somehow sell it. As much as I enjoy getting clothing and the deco items from the NPCs, I don't really need it at the moment, so I'm just going to sell it. Okay, just looking at my dailies, what we can achieve today. And it looks like there's like a little scale at John, so I'm wondering if that's actually functional and we can put our little treasure on there to sell. still keeping an eye on that pearl. But I think we saw one last night, when I had like almost no stamina. So I just want to go there and see if we can actually harvest it now, because I should have enough stamina. I don't think it was here. Okay, I see the little shining blinker in the ocean. For a second there, it looked like the kangaroo was trying to take revenge for the last episode. Again, if you want to know what I'm talking about, please do watch my previous episode. So in the previous few episodes, we've actually had two new NPCs come to our island. So we had Theodore, who's the museum guide. Then we had Franklin, who seems to be the science guy, lab guy, where we can get cool items from, especially the vehicles. I'm so keen to just get my first vehicle and actually travel across the island in a much quicker way, which will be really nice. And then we had Owen, who is the animal guy. So basically we can get animals from him. So far we only got the chook. I'm quite interested to see what other animals he has available. I saw something, I think, in the licenses that said that there were wombats available. So I love wombats, they're so cute. So I'm quite curious to see what they look like, and I'm sure they'll be a cute little addition. So we should actually be getting a new NPC in the next episode, so I'm quite curious to see. I have to say, like, I love that. It's like always the mystery of the tent. What NPC are we getting? And then obviously then that frenzy starts where you finally get an NPC you've sort of been waiting for. I suppose like everyone is different. For me, it's usually the animal and the crop person, I suppose, like, because you want to be farming, right? Like the whole point of the game, majority of cozy gamers like farming games, right? So they want to farm. But I have to say, like, the game is not lacking. Like, if you're not farming right away, especially like crops and that, this game, like, is not dependent on this at all. And I think that's one of the reasons I actually really like it. It sort of breaks up that farming simulation gaming. But I'm so curious to know how the farming mechanic works, and how, if there's like any kind of like automation for it, or like basically the progression in the farming, because anyone who's basically played like any Stardew Valley type kind of games knows that like in the beginning you have to do everything like plot per plot, which can sort of get tedious if that's what you're continuously doing. And then obviously it progresses where you can do it with like multiple fields, and then there's like some games have like automation, some don't, which is also whatever your preference is basically. So I'm quite curious to see that. And the same with the mining. I think when I've watched a couple of playthroughs, there are different levels in the mine, and it's quite a different mechanic to what you usually have, because usually is a cave, and you go into the cave, and then there's different levels where you basically work your way down each level. And like in these levels there's like mobs that you basically fight, and the lower you go in the levels, the harder they basically get. I'm just marking this because there's ore here, and it seems like a good spawning point, and I obviously want to come back when my stamina is full. So I'm looking forward to the mining levels, just to actually see what it's like. Again, I've just seen it's like completely different to anyone else's, which again like just adds to the uniqueness of this kind of game. For anyone thinking that this is just like another farm sim, it really not. Give it a chance. It is so much fun. Trust me, I was also reluctant to actually give it a try, because there's just so many of like farming sim clones out right now, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Those games do very well. People love them, especially cozy games. Like you kind of want the same thing but a little bit different, and this game, I promise, like absolutely fulfills that need. Yeah, I absolutely love it. kind of feel like I'm keeping everyone in suspense to not selling the treasure that we found. But I promise I'm not. I'm just trying to get a couple of things, have a look around. I'm also trying to get as many bugs and that for the museum, so when the museum is completed, I can sort of hand in a couple of stuff to Theodore when he arrives. And also, I must forget, because we had Theodore on our island and I think we gave him a couple of bugs and fishes already, so now I'm actually quite curious to see when the museum is built if they will appear. So it's another thing to look out for. If I forget in the next episode, like, do let me know, like remind me, so that we'll have a look and actually tell me if Theodore, if they get basically displayed in the museum. But also, buying 2 barbecues, best investment ever. It goes so quick right now. I wonder if I can open it. Nope. Okay. Alright, let's go have a look. Okay, John, take it. Nope. Amber chunk. Alright. Okay, that was actually quite a chunk of money. So it was well worth it. And then let's sell the pearl. Let's have a look how much that is. And then obviously the cooked fruit as well. Okay. So it's not as much money as the amber chunk. So see, it's worth it to actually go and use the metal detector. But we do get an achievement for selling the amber chunk as well, which is quite awesome. Let's have a look. I'm still trying to feed or just check up on my chuck. I'm hoping in the next few episodes or playthroughs I'll be able to get like a trough or something. I'm so desperate for this trough. I'm just glad the mystery was solved, that's all. They look quite funny, planted. Cool. But also oddly realistic because, I think this is literally how you would propagate, like a cacti, because it's like you would usually just take like a leaf or basically an offshoot off it and like stick it in the ground, give it water, and then eventually it grows roots, and then it'll grow into a big plant. We've actually been doing that in our garden because we have because when we first moved into our house, we actually got a bunch of like small little speck worms, and we got like literally twigs of them, and now we have like giant bushes. And I think it like took a year or something for them to grow into a bush. They sort of like hibernate in winter, but then in summer they sort of grow full blast. So it's quite interesting, and it's a good way to garden if you don't have a lot of money and you basically want a water-wise plant. That is the best way to do it. But I think also I'm actually quite excited for the museum. So I mean, this episode is a little shorter than usual, and I know usually we go to sleep late at night, but I feel like there's not much for us to do at the moment. So, and I'm quite curious to see what the museum looks like, if our fish and our bugs that we gave to Theodore are going to actually show up, and I also want to know if we get a new NPC tomorrow. So is it going to be an NPC we've seen before, or is it going to be a new one? So I'm super excited. So I think I'm going to end the episode here. If you've watched this far, please consider watching the previous episode if you haven't already. If you enjoyed it, do give me a follow. It's for free. You don't have to pay for anything, and I would be super excited because, again, I'm trying to grow my community. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm doing it so that I can create a little awareness about the games that might not be as popular. Although I do think Dinkum is quite popular, but I quite like looking at indie games and such. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.